how to start your very own remote solar dealer business in 2025. Hey guys, welcome back to the best solar channel on the planet. My name is Ivan, and for the past 5 years, I've dedicated my life and soul into solar. I went from having one of the biggest lead generation agencies in solar to scaling multiple sales teams selling over the phone. And today, I want to show you the step-by-step process of everything you need to know and do in order to start your very own solar dealer business. Now, we're going to cover 5 different topics, starting from market research, finding EPCs or solar installers to install your deals, different ways of generating leads, your sales and backend processes, and number 5, everything that's going to cost you in order to put this together. So without further ado, let's get right in. So the first, you got to research the markets that you're going to go into, because we have 50 states to target, but we're not going to target all 50 states because not everyone's created equal, meaning not every single state is notoriously well known or people are receptive towards solar, nor the laws allow people to easily go solar. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for states that are actually more expensive in utility costs, so they overcharge people who live in the state for electricity. And then you're also going to look into actual laws in the state that allow the buyback to be a 1-for-1 credit. And if you have these two things work in conjunction, then you have a really irresistible offer for anyone looking to go solar. And what I would do is I would choose 3 to 5 different markets that are actually really good for solar. Markets like California, markets like the Northeast, markets like Florida, so on and so forth. And whichever market stands out the most in terms of people's buying power and number 2, lead costs, I'm going to focus all of my efforts into that one market versus all the other markets that I started with. And once you scale that market, you have a steady flow of deals coming in every single month, then you can actually start looking for another top market that you want to hit and focus all your efforts in that would allow you to actually scale your business much faster. The reason why you don't want to really pin down to one market and just be like, okay, I'm going to focus on Florida is because Florida might be a great market, but last month they got hit with a major 2 or 3 hurricanes and a bunch of tornadoes. And most of the people right now living in Florida are not really thinking about solar. They're thinking about how their insurance company is going to pay for their roof to get their roof replaced, which is completely understandable. But that is why if you have the power of being able to go into any market that you like and have multiple going at any given time, well, what that's going to allow you to do would be like, okay, if Florida's out, then we got 2 or 3 other markets or 5 other markets. And that's the power of doing everything remotely. So choosing the markets you want to start with, number 1, the cost of electricity, you look for high costs. And number 2, you look for easy laws for people to go solar and the buyback rate in that state, which will make it a no-brainer for people to actually go solar. So solar really sells itself. Number 2, once you pin down what markets you want to start with, then what you want to do is you want to find EPCs or installers that would actually carry out the work for you, because the dealer is the company that sells solar and is the company that connects the homeowners with the installers. Now, what the installer is going to do is just carry out the work. They're going to order the panels. They're going to send out a crew to install it. They're going to monitor it. They're going to insure it. They're going to do all of that stuff. All you're going to do is you just have to find a homeowner and then pitch him the idea of solar and then close the deal. That's really it. And the solar installer basically takes it from there. Now, how do you find a good EPC? Because not every EPC out there is great to work with. So number 1, I would look for companies that can actually do multiple states. Why? If I decide to scale, then I can just use that same installer for the next market I'm going to go into. But that's number 1. Number 2 is I'm going to actually do my research. So first I'm going to go into Facebook groups and I'm going to find companies that are actually installing in that state. And then I'm going to choose 5 companies that I'm going to reach out to. I'm going to see their reviews. I'm going to see how many years they've been in business. I'm going to reach out to them, schedule a call with them. And actually, the best way to find EPCs is very simple. Once you've already pinned down everyone that you want to contact, what you're going to do is most of them actually have on their website something called a dealer program. So you go and find out what the dealer program is for that installer, and then usually you apply through filling out a form, And then as soon as you submit the form, you have somebody reach out to you within 1 to 2 days. If you want to rush them and actually get a response faster, then what you're going to do is you're going to simply fill out the form, you're going to email them, and you're going to call them. That's how you get through to people a lot faster. So that is how you find the EPC. This is totally not true that you have to put X amount of deals through them, or you have to be a big company in order to work with an installer like that. That is all a lie. You can put 5 deals a month, 10 deals a month, or as little as 1 deal a month, and they'll still accept you. Why? Because think of it. If you're the installer and you had people come to you sending you deals when you don't have to do nothing, you don't have to lift a finger to go and actually acquire the deal. You have other companies doing that for you, other people doing that for you. Why do you care how many deals that person or organization is going to put through you? And that is the reality of what it's like to find an installer. They don't care how many deals you bring in. The more you bring in, obviously, the better treatment you're going to get. But you can bring in as little as 1 or 2 deals, and they're still going to be happy to take you. Now, once you've found the EPCs you want to give a shot, the third thing is lead generation. You have to look into what ways you're going to utilize to generate leads. There's obviously multiple ways to skin a cat. I would advise you to start with one way to start, whether that is cold calling, whether that is Facebook ads, whether that is buying appointments. And the appointment side is really questionable with a lot of companies, so be careful with that. But whatever it is that you decide to do has to be in congruence with your time versus money situation. Do you have more time than you have money? Because I always get people ask me the same question.
What do you recommend to start with?
I'm like, I don't know, bro. Like, I don't know your personal finances. I don't know what your day-to-day looks like. If you have more time than you have money, then I always say, well, start with something like cold calling. Why? Because you don't have to spend that much money in order to get appointments, because you're the one setting them and it's not someone else. The moment you have to outsource your efforts into someone else doing that for you, well, you're gonna have to pay up. And that's the reality of the world. So if you have less time than money, then you're gonna start with something like Facebook ads. But if you have more time than money, then you're gonna start with something that involves more sweat equity, or in other words, effort. Now, the way we traditionally do it and the way I teach my clients to do it is through Facebook ads, because it's actually really, really simple to do it, and it's actually very predictable and not that expensive if you know what you're doing. Because Facebook, just like any other social media platforms or anything else, it's just a tool. And if you're inexperienced in using that tool, well, that's not going to work really well for you. It's just like using the gun for the first time. Who would have a higher chance of hitting a target? Somebody who's just picking up a gun and shooting for the first time, or somebody who has been a Marine for the last 10 years? Of course, the Marine. And it's the same thing. The gun just happens to be a tool. It's just that it's 2 different people utilizing the tool. And it's exactly the same way with advertising. And once you figured out your lead generation strategy you want to go with, number 4 is you got to have the sales and back end super strong. Now, you're going to have your CRM, which is something like Go High Level that you can get, or any other CRM of choice. But Go High Level is relatively inexpensive, and it would allow you to do a lot of things such as automation, sending emails, SMS. You can integrate an AI bot. Someone can build that out for you. It's really, really simple, and it's only like $100 a month or something. On top of that, depending on the strategy that you've chosen, you can always have a dialer. And once you have some leads into the pipeline, it's good to have a dialer, because you can hit those leads multiple times a day, and that would happen a lot more frequently than if you just had hundreds or even thousands of leads and you just can't get through to all of them on any given day. Now, you also need to have scripts for setting, closing, handling objections. All of these things are important, because if you don't, then you're just going to be all over the place, and that's not ideal when you're selling over the phone, because you have very little time to win people over. And if you don't instill certainty right away in people, then they're just going to lose interest and never answer the phone next time you call. So having the proper sales and back-end process in play would just ensure that you have a higher lead to appointment ratio and appointment to deal ratio than if you had none. So it's very important. And the last but not least, let's talk about cost. So what is all of this cost? If you wanted to start from scratch, that process, all in all, is probably gonna take you about $5,000 to $10,000. And the reason why I say 5 to 10 grand is because you have to have some room for error. Like, you're starting out in a brand new industry, most likely. And even though if you have prior sales experience and you're very good at what you do, that was in your other industry. This is a brand new thing, so you're almost starting from square one. And so the strategies that you have, the way you approach people is gonna be different, and that's gonna improve over time. And that's what I say, listen, you might start at a $2,000 or maybe even $2,500 cost per acquisition, but that might change over time. And instead of spending $2,000 or $2,500 a deal, it's gonna cost you $1,500 or maybe even $1,000 if you have everything dialed in. But essentially, it doesn't cost that much money to start. Now, the entire process is very, very simple, but a lot of things are easier said than done. Obviously, it would require a lot of effort and education on your part, and I would actually highly advise you to get somebody that's already done that. Now, if you want to learn more about our passive income model in solar, where we actually generate the leads, close the deals, manage customer communication, and having the right installer network, and all you do is you just collect checks every single month, then you should check the first link in the description down below. Now, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.